Good morning, 3-3. The Swiss Family Robinson, Chapter 6, The Return Home. Fritz soon found the weight of his canes more than he expected. He shifted them from one shoulder to another, then he carried them under his arm, and finally he halted and, sighing deeply, said, "Really, Papa, I had no idea that these few reeds would be so heavy." "Never mind, my boy," I answered. "Patience and courage. Let us each take a fresh staff, and then fasten the bundle crosswise to your gun." We did so, and as we went along, I often tasted my cane. Fritz tried to do the same, but found he could not extract any juice. "How is this, father?" he said. "Think a little," I replied, "and I am sure you will find the reason you do not employ the right means." He soon discovered that he must make a small hole above the first knot of the cane to let the air in. This done, he was able to refresh himself as much as he wished with the delicious beverage. "But," said he, "if we continue to use them as we are doing, very few of the canes will reach that tent." "Do not let that trouble you," I replied, "for the heat of the sun will most likely turn the juice sour." "At any rate," replied Fritz, "Mother will enjoy the coconut milk, for I have filled it with my tin flask. My dear boy, you will find a bottle full of vinegar instead of milk by the time we reach home. It quickly spoils." "Shall we try it now?" he asked. The bottle was taken from the bag, and as we endeavored to draw the cork, it flew out with a loud report. Bang! The milk following it, foaming like champagne. We tasted it and found it very delicious, much refreshed, as we walked so briskly that we soon reached the place where we had left the gourd dishes. We found them quite dry and very light and easy to carry. Scarcely had we reached the edge of the wood when Turk darted past us, barking furiously at a troop of monkeys who were gamboling on the turf. They were taken completely by surprise and sprang into the trees out of Turk's reach. All escaped but a female monkey who carried a little one on her back and could not get away. Turk had seized the poor animal, and although Fritz rushed to the rescue, he arrived too late to save her. The baby monkey had fallen on the grass, and when Turk seized its mother, he in an instant caught Fritz, and he jumped nimbly on his back and held on firmly to the boy's hair. Seeing there was no danger, I could not help but laughing heartily at the ludicrous scene. By coaxing and gentleness, I succeeded in relieving poor Fritz of his unwelcome guest, which was no bigger than a kitten, and incapable of taking care of itself. I took it in my arms as I would an infant. "It was very obvious the little orphan had chosen you for its adopted father, Fritz," I said jokingly. "The little rogue," laughed Fritz. "What a jolly little fellow it is. He has pulled my hair terribly, but do let me keep it. We can feed it with coconut milk, or if we get the cow and the goat from the ship, there will be milk to spare. And perhaps, if he lives, his instincts may help us to discover if the fruits and vegetables we find are wholesome or poisonous." I cannot help regarding it with pity, for it must inevitably perish if abandoned by us. I therefore consented on condition that he took entire charge of it and taught it to be obedient, and we continued our walk. Turk soon overtook us, and with the sight of him, the little monkey crept onto Fritz's bosom, much to his inconvenience. But a lucky thought struck him. He tied the monkey with a cord to Turk's back, and though the dog was very rebellious at first, we at last induced him to submit quietly to his burden. Beguiling the journey with an entertaining conversation on the habits of monkeys, we proceeded slowly homeward. I could not help anticipating the mirth of my little ones when they saw us approach like a couple of showmen with animals to exhibit. Juno was the first to salute us by her barking. Turk responded, and so alarmed his little rider that he sprang from the dog's back to the shoulder of Fritz, and nothing could induce him to quit his seat there. Turk, finding himself free, set off to rejoin his comrade, and crossing the river by swimming, announced our approach. My dear ones soon assembled on the opposite bank, so welcome us full of joy and affection. Our happy party was once more united. The children, who were impatient to examine what we had brought back, began shouting, "A monkey! A monkey! Oh, Fritz, where did you find it? What a funny little fellow! I wonder what it can eat. But what are those sticks for? And look at those curious things Papa is carrying." When the first transports of joy were over, I said, "I am truly thankful to see you all again. We have returned in safety, thank God, and have brought you many good things, but we have not succeeded in finding any trace of our lost companions. Let us be grateful that we united once more," said my wife. "We can still be happy in our own society of love. Now let us relieve you of your burdens." Jack accordingly took my gun, Ernest the coconuts, Frank the spoons and plates which I had made, and my wife the game bag. Fritz distributed the sugar canes among them and again placed the little monkey on Turk's back, to the children's great amusement. Ernest appeared so laden with the nuts that his mother, out of pity, took them from him. "If Ernest only knew what he had given up," said Fritz, "he would soon ask for them again. They are coconuts." "Coconuts!" he exclaimed. "Oh, Mama, give them back to me again. I can carry them, and the gun too." "No," said Mother, "one thing is enough, or I shall hear you complaining presently how the load fatigues you." But I can throw these sticks and carry the gun in one hand." "Throw away those sticks," cried Fritz. "I advise you not. They are sugar canes." "Sugar canes! Sugar canes!" exclaimed them all, as they clustered around Fritz, who showed them how to suck the juice. Thus conversing, we reached the tent, where I found an appetizing supper awaiting us. On one side of a large fire stood an iron pot full of soup. From a piece of wood which rested on two forked sticks fixed in the ground hung a goose roasting, while large oyster shells beneath formed the dripping pans to catch the grease. Several kinds of fish were cooking on the hot stones, and best of all, at a little distance, was one of the hogsheads that I had saved from the wreck, which my wife and boys had contrived to drag up from the riverside and open. It contained a number of Dutch cheeses, wrapped in thin sheets of paper. "You have not been idle during our absence, I see, my dear children. But was it not a pity to kill one of our geese?" "I believe it's a penguin, Papa," said Ernest, "and I call it a booby because it let me kill it so easily with a stick." "Come now," said his mother. "Do you not see how Ernest is fixed on his eyes on the coconuts? Let him taste one of them." "Certainly," I replied, "and the monkey must not be forgotten." "But he will not eat anything, Papa," said Jack. "I have tried him with all I can think of." "We must try him with the milk of the coconut," I said. "Probably he will drink that." We all seated ourselves on the grass with the spoons and dishes made from the calabash trees. I broke open two of the coconuts, and we all enjoyed the white lining of the inner shell after I had extracted the milk. Nor was the monkey forgotten, for the boys dipped the corners of their handkerchiefs in the milk and were delighted to find that the little creature would suck them eagerly. While we were enjoying the fish, which was very good, Fritz begged his mother to taste the coconut champagne. "Taste it yourself, Fritz," I said. He did so, and was mortified to find that it had turned to vinegar. "As I expected, my boy, but never mind, vinegar is very good with fish," and I poured some on my plate, and the rest followed my example. By the time we had finished, the sun was rapidly sinking, and it was necessary to prepare for the night. My wife and boys had collected a large quantity of dry moss and grass, which was now spread on the floor of our tent, and formed comfortable beds. The poultry were already gone to roost as before. The geese and ducks had betaken themselves to their night quarters. After offering our evening prayer and arranging all our things as on the previous night, I entered the tent. Fritz and Jack took the little motherless ape between them to protect him from the cold, and we were all soon fast asleep. We had not slept long before the restless movements of the fowls and the barking of the dogs awoke us all. Seizing my gun, I rushed out, followed by my wife and Fritz, who were also alarmed. We perceived by the light of the moon that a battle was going on between a couple of jaguars and our brave dogs. Already the dogs had nearly settled one of the assailants, but the other one, hoping to take them at a disadvantage, still pressed on them. Though the two courageous animals kept him at bay, Fritz and I fired together and laid one dead. The other one, frightened by the report of the guns, made off. By my leave, Fritz dragged the dead one into the tent to show in the morning to his brothers, whom neither the firing of the guns nor the barking of the dogs had wakened. We lay down once more and slept soundly until the crowing of the cock in the morning, when my wife and I awoke to consult about the business of the new day.